This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Mr. Sakatumi, Mr. Sakatumi, Mr. Sakatumi.
Hi, my name is Shauna Tim, aka Mr. Sakatumi. I am a classically trained pianist, multi-instrumentalist. I am a musician, music producer, and I also teach music. I am second generation Chinese born in South Africa. By growing up in South Africa, I've gained other opportunities.
Our musical director, Mr. Sakatumi.
All the people I've met, the career that I've built from music, and especially meeting Inka. Yeah, she's irreplaceable in the story. My whole family's musical. My mom played piano. My brothers play instruments. My sister plays piano. Piano became like the foundation for my musical background. And then I just started learning other instruments. My musical career has gotten vast.
Can I have some piano here, please, Trevor?
I just landed up playing with amazing people. I'll roll off the bass on my instrument rather to be safe. I started working with my friend Zolani, who's now known as the one who sings, who was in the band Freshly Ground. And I started producing her solo album. Could I ask for a little less guitar in my monitoring system, please? It won a SAMA award, which is like the South African Music Award for Best Produced Album.
If the birds up in the trees know how beautiful they are, if the mountains and the seas show how magical they are, if the stars which made our skin show how radiant they are, won't they shine their light until you remember who you are?
Our musical director, Mr. Sakatumi.
My dad and my brothers and I would always go and play at the arcade and play video games every now and again. And my dad was the champion Pac-Man player. What kid can say his dad's a Pac-Man champion? Video game for me is also a good outlook on life. I like the challenge of video games and trying to always get through levels and stages, because in life you do the same thing. At some point, if you're not getting past the level, you have to make some changes, like in a video game, to get to the next stage. And I think that's kind of my philosophy in life as well. One fun thing about being Chinese and Asian is creative license to play on my Asian background. That's how my alias name came about, Mr. Sakatumi. It sounds very Japanese, even though it wasn't intended. The name kind of came about in the wordplay from the Aretha Franklin song, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, Sakatumi, Sakatumi. Just before then, I actually met my future wife-to-be, Inka Kenzio. We got married in 2009. She's from Namibia, and her heritage is German. Inka became the girl on stage. She would be running visuals, so we'd formed a band together. as Mr. Sakatumi and the girl.
Mr. Sakatumi and the girl. Mr. Sakatumi and the girl.
They are really awesome. Yes.
Da 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 da.
How we met was obviously through the electronic music scene and all the parties that were happening in Cape Town. She'd be VJing all the gigs and parties, and I would just be either playing at some of them, or I'd just kind of go and hang out and watch and support. We just connected. Our symbiosis just worked so well. She would just create the best visuals for anything I came up with. She made like such creative music videos for some of the songs. Our collaboration doing like the glitchy electronic beats and audio-visual mashups as Mr. Sakatumi and the girl kind of evolved into more art installation space and territory. Apart from like festival stages and clubs and stuff, now the stages were like on the street, like in a theater, more gallery-based installations and stuff. I'll try and find some other song.
Okay. Well, it's not needed a piano. I think it's more of an ambient, beautiful...
She'd do projections over murals, and I would do music and sound design for that.
Not sure about that sound. That's beautiful. And if I do something softer now?
It's cool. I can bring it down. That's cool. Call it the crackle. Are you ready?
I think if I'm thinking of these things lying on the floor...
How's that?
That's great. It's like when there's stones in a river, which is good.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll make this one. I'll automate this one. I am second generation Chinese born in South Africa, of two families, the Lau family and the Tim family. My mother is Sheena Waiha Lau, and my dad, Michael O'Tim. My siblings in order of age is my eldest sister, Lynette, and then it's my eldest brother, Trevor, then it's my middle brother, Brendan, and then I'm the youngest. My family, they're all performers. My mom loved performing. My mom was in the circus. She performed as the magician's assistant. When they moved to Clarksdorp from Kimberley, they met another like smaller Chinese community of friends that were all also doing music. A Chinese choir that sang in Mandarin. So it was a bit of a challenge for her because she had to phonetically learn a lot of the songs. Old age.
What did they call themselves again? The happiness choir.
I can't remember now. I never actually asked. My dad still got the book of her writing out the translation for her to be able to sing the songs.
They always practice their moves. Remember when Mom would tell us about their rehearsal?
So proud of Mom for being involved in this choir, and they were such a cool group of women who just wanted to entertain. My father is a music appreciator. He doesn't perform. His creativity is more in the kitchen. My dad still continues to cook and create amazing food, and he makes music out of food. The only connection I had to China was literally growing up through the Chinese club.
I've only heard stories about it, so it's so lovely to see this for real.
The building was renovated and in 1945 became the headquarters of the Kimberley Chinese Association.
So when you were young, you went to the club to watch movies?
Yeah, and there was also family get-togethers as well. This plays so much history. Like when you're young, the sense of community element is not as strong. Like at the time, you're just thinking about catching up. But in retrospect, thinking about it, I really appreciate that we had a Chinese club to be able to meet up.
Many South African Chinese families continue to follow traditional wedding customs. We found a way of combining, I guess, German and Chinese customs in our
highlighting
wedding.
Identity crisis. I guess people can have like thoughts of what their identity should be and what society kind of imposes on them. But at the end of the day, your identity is yours to choose. I think it just ended over there.
Yeah, let's end it there.
I picked up the piano because my whole family's musical. My mum played piano, my brothers play instruments, my sister plays piano. I watched this movie, Amadeus, which is about Mozart. This is probably the movie that got me to actually start really playing piano. I was just blown away by how brilliant somebody could be musically. After this movie, I said to my mom, I want to start playing piano. And I started classical lessons that Monday. I see learning piano as like walking, and then everything else, once you learn to walk, you can run, you can skip, you can jump, you can hop. So for me, piano became like the foundation for my musical background. And then I just started learning other instruments. And then from learning other instruments, I started playing more bands. And I realized I could start earning money playing music. This is also so important in my family's musical history. My parents were super supportive of all our music. They just came to all our shows. My mom would be even running the door at some of the shows. And they just supported us with instruments and things that could inspire us. That's really bad sounds, but it was for that time, it was amazing. You could like... So it still works. And my brothers and I, and even my sister, we'd spend ages playing on this thing. And you could change sounds, and you could... Which was, at that time, was amazing. I think this is so inspiring, and I definitely owe to my parents for all their support in all our musical careers. And I'm doing what I'm doing today because of that. My grandparents immigrated to South Africa, both on my mom and my dad's side. My mom's side immigrated to Johannesburg, and on my dad's side, my grandparents immigrated to Kimberley. On my dad's side, they started a general dealer store. The family business was called Ocean, importing, exporting, and doing delicatessens. I think it was, my dad's proud to say it was like the first supermarket, general dealer store in Kimberley. He was proud of the fact that they started this little business and it was actually pioneering something really cool in Kimberley. My dad actually showed me my grandmother's trunk she arrived with, which is quite amazing to see, arriving with very little and starting these huge families. Unfortunately, I never got to meet my grandfather. He passed away before I was even born. On my mom's side, my bobo and gongong, they only spoke and understood in Cantonese. Not one of those grandchildren that could have actually had those stories of like sitting with your grandparent and learning some wisdom or learning something about them growing up or even about your parents when they were younger. I didn't get a chance to learn my language. Can't write it, I can't speak it, especially when going to go and visit China and no one could talk to me. I couldn't talk to anyone if we weren't conversing in English. It's actually almost a regret not to have learned it growing up. But my parents and also my immediate families, we still practice some of the customs. Having communities and families connected to some of the traditions was really helpful in me connecting to my idea of what things would be like in China. Growing up surrounded by more westernized stuff, your interests are also spreading to many other things besides culture and tradition. In Kimberley, most Chinese land up going to Western English-speaking schools. In junior school, I went to a Catholic private school, Christian Brothers College, and then to high school, I went to Kimberley Boys High. I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. Didn't last very long. I studied for about a year and dropped out, much to my parents' dismay. They had high hopes for me becoming a qualified engineer, but I had other things going on the side that drew my attention over the time. At that stage, I was skateboarding and playing music and playing sports, and I was still playing bands and stuff on the side. And when I dropped out, I had a student loan I had to pay. So I was like working part-time at a CD shop, and I was playing music to try and pay back my student loan because I said to my mom, I'm going to pay for my student loan. It was my choice to drop out, and I wanted to just honor that. I don't have a musical degree. I think I just learned everything from street level.
I grew up in the city of Cape Town with family that didn't always connect.
When I got into music production, I started also doing composition for television ads, like radio, film documentaries, short films, anything that needed sound design and music composition.
Shot.
Okay. Tell me when?
Yeah, this one.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just put a mark in there.
You've got to put the time and effort into growing something to understand the process. And that's how you earn your green fingers.
Yeah.
I felt nostalgic. And that, I think, is the trick we do through storytelling.
Yeah. That's why I was even thinking of this instrument, like the ukulele, just has such a sentimental feel. We could also play around with like some more like traditional instruments. Like I've got a kalimba, which plays notes. But you can also just that. Can create like a space. Just ideas of bringing in real instruments, not just all being... The thing with digital music, you can create everything so digitally, but I think there's something tangible about real instruments being recorded. It's like there's...
Did anyone ever tell you that you're super talented?
You are the first person to ever tell me that.
Yeah.
Okay, just record again.
I stay locked in and locked down, try to trip me up and trip me out. I tune in and turn out, they talking, but I tune them out. Rest in peace to opposition that won't.
A couple of years back, a musician from America reached out to me, Unico. He's a social conscious rapper, and we've done a couple of tracks together. It's very cool to also collaborate with people overseas through technology.
Love conquers all.
2014, I'd signed up to become a certified trainer because I enjoy teaching as well. Apart from creating music, I enjoy sharing musical ideas. I enjoy sharing musical techniques. It's a great starting point for me with remixes because you can also grab section of the track and abstract it and not have to do just the typical remix idea of grabbing the favorite break in the song, finding that, looping that forever. And I also help aspiring music producers, aspiring artists, as well as established artists with helping them with their set so they can perform live as well.
All I ever wanted was your love.
Initially starting as a musician and then moving to being a producer, I think music technology has been key in that growth for me. It's made it easier for me to collaborate with other artists and other musicians. The software I use, Ableton Live, it's almost like a video game approach to music. You can approach it with a more fun, unpredictable, inspiring way. I kind of view when I'm doing music production as you're taking sounds from different places and it's like different pieces of a puzzle and putting together and you make your own composition. Yeah.
And out. Some effects there.
Nice one. That was great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's feeling much better.
What are you thinking of cooking?
I think stir fry. Have rice or noodles?
I definitely do rice. Because I was thinking of making bak jim kai. So here we are in Kenai. Sometimes we'll actually shop here quite often for ingredients.
Nice little shops. Hey, look there.
Remember this? This.
Yeah.
Mom always used to get this for us and like, it's like a little treat, our tup-tup. So let's definitely get this.
Oh, do you want some bamboo shoots?
Add it
I
in.
haven't really cooked with them for a while. Okay, and some chili.
Yeah.
There we go.
Superior light soy sauce, and then we are good.
Okay.
No, I didn't. Hey, bro. Hi, Dad.
We're cooking, Dad. Look.
We were talking about what recipes we've learned.
Yeah, we were talking about the chicken feet. Who likes them? I don't like them. Sean ate them. Dad, you love them, hey?
I love chicken feet. I think it generalizes across that all parents want their children to be in a better situation than them. Chinese families take it to another level. They really want you to do better than them. They want you to have a better life, a more prosperous life. Health, wealth, and prosperity is always like the big three things in Chinese culture. Okay, what piece is this? My mom passed away in July of 2014, and I always appreciated her passion for music and playing piano. She just had a great way of playing it and it brought her joy. So that piece is quite special as well in the sense of when I hear that piece, I really think of her. It's almost like I can see her playing it. She was always super supportive of the entire family and all our musical endeavors. She kept a scrapbook of arts festivals or gigs. I'm just glad I managed to capture that little bit of footage of her that I can always, visit from time to time. Okay, so off to soundcheck for the gig with Jeremy Lukes. I've been playing with him for 9 years. He's a folk pop singer that's kind of become popular around the world. So we've been touring for almost a decade now, globally. With him, I play bass guitar in the band. I've traveled as far as Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, North America, Canada, Europe, UK, Eastern Europe, and parts of Africa, and a lot of South Africa as well.
Oh, but where I want with the clips in? We have two. You took one of my...
So these are my in-ears. So we all listen to the show in our ears, and everyone got to choose different colors, and I chose lucky red, because for Chinese, red's a very lucky color.
But probably not. I think the show will be solid at that.
But you could also do this town there if you wanted.
Music is a large part of my life.
Gold could come here as well. We didn't practice it.
Would we do the acoustic version?
I would imagine I could be more of an introvert person if I wasn't doing music.
Okay, we're going.
I'll be warm and I'll be cold. It's been drifting in my bones. It's been a long, long year. Tell them. Another time, another place. It's been happening every day.
An aspect of music collaboration that I never thought about until we had music technology at our disposal, is being able to work with other artists around the world. I'm very open to the idea that maybe one day I can actually collaborate with musicians or artists from China. And even if we hardly speaking on the same language, we will be able to connect on the same language of music and make a collaboration. I think that's a very exciting idea. Growing up in South Africa, we sometimes question, who am I? What is my identity? Who am I supposed to be? On one hand, I've got all this history and culture and heritage of being Chinese that goes so far back, but I've grown up here and it's a different upbringing. By growing up in South Africa, I've gained other opportunities that I really appreciate and cherish, like all the people I've met, the talented artists and creatives and musicians that I've actually gotten to work with over here, the career that I've built from music, and especially meeting Inka. Yeah, she's irreplaceable in the story.